Hello and welcome to episode 18 of the WION Sports Broadband edition with me, Digvijay Singh Deo. And as we enter a month of this lockdown, I'm joined by a very special guest. Indian football captain Sunil Chhetri joins me from Bengaluru. Sunil, welcome to the show. And I must say that all of India's sports persons don't seem to have lost their sense of humor during this period, because I saw an interaction between you and your Bengaluru FC coach in which he tried to pull your leg and you sort of handled it pretty well.
Yeah, I think that comes with being a sports person. I think you have to be quick and witty. So it's not only me, but if you talk to any sports person, they'll be like this. But in a serious note, we're just trying to stay calm and yeah, I mean, and sometimes you got to find those funny moments where you can pull each other and make yourself and the other person laugh. It's not. I mean, it's difficult times for all of us. Uh, so yeah, just trying our best to engage with each other, to try to keep motivating each other professional front and also trying to as many as we can.
Yes, but Sunil, mentally, how difficult is this period for you and the rest of your teammates? Simply because in your life, in your sport, the very essence of your sport is outdoor. It's in the DNA, and for all of you to be locked inside at the moment. So, how difficult is that to fight that urge?
When I just think about myself and my teammates and all the sports people and athletes, then it is difficult because the the most important train and be able to express ourselves, to play, to enjoy. That's our work. But the kind of environment we are in right now, we are the lucky ones. We still are indoors. We don't have to struggle for normal basic amenities. There are so many people who are struggling, and I'm not trying to sound cliche, but when I think about all of them, I think, I mean, there is no pain to us. I mean, we're not struggling at all. The real struggle is about basic amenities of food, water. People are struggling. A lot of people are trying to, I mean, in their quest of getting all these things, they're getting ill, and people are losing their lives. So our agony, our pain is nothing. We're just struggling because we can't go out and not being able to train properly. But that's all right. Once this lockdown is over, once life comes back to normalcy, we'll get back to our stuff. In the meantime, I can speak about me and a lot of you as much as possible at home and trying to eat healthy and sleep right, and it's over, we'll get back.
Yes, Sunil, as you rightly pointed out, there are much more pressing concerns in the world, and all of us have had to adjust in a way, but at no way does it compare to the sufferings of millions around the world. But a lot of players across the world, across sports, are sharing exercise videos or finding ways to stay fit. How's it been with you? How are you managing to stay fit? You look perfectly fit.
I think the same thing. Our last game was on the 8th of February. That's where we lost to 80K, and our season was over. Then we had the game against Qatar for the World Cup qualifiers that got postponed, understandably. Uh, I think I took 21 days off. I also had a small niggle in my hamstring. I took care of it, and I was advised 14 days rest and doing nothing. After 21 days, I started. It's been almost 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks now. I do, I mean, whatever is possible inside my house. I do a lot of band work, a lot of core work, do a little bit of cardio, and that's about it. I think doing a lot of household work also helps to burn your calories. The most important thing is I try and eat well, and I'm not trying to fiddle around with my sleeping times. I think that's the two most important things that I'm doing. What happens is in times like this, we tend to be a little bit lazy in terms of sleeping and eating habits. So I'm trying my best not to disturb that. Although you would not get the same kind of fitness regime in your house as what you're going to get in a gym or a ground or a pool or whatever you use. But I'm trying my best to move about as much as I can. I've got few equipments here and there. I've got some bands. But as I said, which is the most important thing that I'm taking care right now is food and sleep. That is the most important thing. Because I
Yes.
keep talking to my friends, a lot of them not sports people. They're just going crazy, eating and sleeping at wrong times, watching too much of telly. So I don't want to get into that vicious circle, and I just want to have my same routine. Sleep early and eat the right thing.
Yes, as your friends, I'm as guilty as charged. Not exactly eating healthy at the moment, and definitely no exercises. But I mean, one sort of has vices. But is this period very concerning for a lot of players around the world, especially when it comes to mental health? And there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment, especially when the season will resume. Will we have matches? Will we get paid? So you sort of understand where that's coming from, and what role can clubs, national federations, and even FIFA play at this time to address these kind of situations?
I think the first thing you spoke about is mental health. It's very important to stay calm. Doing a little bit of physical activity actually helps. A lot of people don't understand this, but if you move about, and if you're physically a little bit fitter, you kind of think better. You're calmer. So that's my first advice. If you can move about a little bit. I know a lot of people have a lot of work. Maids are not coming, cooks are not coming. So even we are struggling in that way. So I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of work. But if anyone who's listening to this, if they can take about a little bit time for their own body and do some workout, that helps in your sanity, in your mind. Also try and meditate if you can. It also really helps. It's very important because you kind of snap. These times have never been seen before. You're not supposed to, or you're not used to this kind of thing. So a lot of people snap. A lot of people become cranky. There are a lot of verbal fights. So try to stay calm. We all are in this, and try to keep your mind as sane as possible. Do things that you like. Take care of your body also. That will help in your mental balances. And as far as the clubs are concerned, the federation, FIFA, and everyone, I think everybody's still thinking about it. Nobody has a concrete answer, especially because nobody knows when this is going to get over. Do we have to wait for the vaccine to completely come out? Do we start? Is it going to be dependent on regions? If there are regions where things are fine, will they open for trainings? So no one knows right now. There's a lot of uncertainty. So I can't say what role and what they can do. I think everybody's trying to figure out. I think let it put it like this: the prime objective right now is to find a way how we're going to deal with this virus. I think rest everything comes secondary. So when sports is going to be open, when people are going to start training, when there's going to be competition, all depends on once we know or we find a way how to deal with this thing. I think till then we all trying to figure out. Nobody has a definite situation, or any sporting body or any club can give you a definite answer. And also about the pay cuts that we're hearing here and there, it's very subjective. It depends on which country, which league, what club. I mean, it's sad. It's sad. It shouldn't happen to anyone. Forget about the sports people only. It shouldn't happen to anyone. But it's very subjective, man. It depends. So I can't comment on that.
Yeah, fair enough. But uh, you've obviously been in touch with a lot of your fellow Indian footballers. How tough is it for them at the moment? You're talking about pay cuts, but it's not just players; it's the entire ecosystem around sport in general, across sports. It's not just limited to one sport. How difficult is it for Indian footballers at the moment? You think that our structure is such that it won't pinch as much as it's pinching around the world, or is there problems in the lower tiers right now?
Yeah, I mean, the young boys who have less salary are going to struggle, of course. You know, I mean, if I can throw a name, let's suppose Gurpreet Singh Sandhu or a Sandesh Jingan, they're all sorted. Probably. I mean, I can say this because all these boys came forward to do a little bit of donation for the PM funds. I also had a talk with them. All of them are trying to help their regional uh, NGOs and people who are working, and the state funds. All of them are working. I mean, to their best capabilities, trying to donate as much as they can. So I know they're all better off. When I say better off, I mean they don't have to think about. I mean, basic amenities. They're all. But I think the younger players might struggle if it continues. If this thing continues, and if some of the boys have to lose their salary or a percentage of it, the younger ones or the ones who are not in that big salary might struggle. I hope it doesn't happen to anyone. But I think all the I think all the top athletes in the country, would probably not struggle financially. The struggle is not financial. The struggle is more mental. The struggle is more about not getting the time to play. You know, also especially for players like me, we are all 30 plus. You know, all the sports people's life span of a sport person is numbered. So when you lose 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know how many months you're going to lose. It is not very conducive and nice. You know, I think that's the real worry. Money. I think money is a worry for all the daily wages. Money is a worry for people who are working, you know, for very minimum amount of money every day, and that's why I think the whole country should come together and help them. You know, sports people, I mean, I can talk about footballers, all the top. I mean, I don't think money, food, or basic amenities is a problem. They all are better off.
Yeah, fair enough. And it's pretty honest of you to be pretty upfront about it. But Sunil, we don't in Indian football have the big budgets which you see in the European leagues. Already the ISL season is over. The final was played behind closed doors. The I League, already the AIFF came out and declared Mohan Bagan champion, which was just about a formality. Do you think what will be the impact of COVID-19 on Indian football per se? Because it sort of has come right in the between of the end of seasons in a sense. So the actual football won't suffer that much.
No, I think we will struggle. I mean, the sporting calendar will struggle. As far as the AFC matches for the country and the club is concerned, the world qualifiers, it all depends on AFC and FIFA. So we have to wait for their guidelines and their scheduling when they're going to start. As far as our local tournaments are concerned, again, we have to wait for the probably government to give us a nod that we can start these things, because our sport, it brings everyone together. You know, it's not about 1,000, 30, 40,000 people in the stadium. So whenever we do open for tournaments and all, it has to be a very thought about decision. So I think we have to wait for the government to give us a nod. Until then, as I said, we just have to wait. I hope we can find a solution where we can get out as soon as possible, so that we can plan the calendar. Even if you ask the think tanks of Indian football, they cannot give you a definite answer right now, because they will never know when to start from, which date to start from. So all these permutation combinations are on the line until we get a situation where we can go out, where we can start training. So till then, it's just about being patient.
Yes,
But
and
I
that's
think whenever we do, but I think whenever we do come out, it'll be a humongous task to make sure everything falls under our calendar. You know, I don't think it'll be a normal calendar, uh, largely because of the time when we're going to start. I don't think it's going to start early. It doesn't look like. So whenever we start, it'll be I think it'll be not the time that we ideally would have started. So it'll be stretched out. I don't know how we're going to do that. Also because the AFC and the world qualifiers are going to have their own dates. So it's going to be difficult. And I think it's difficult for any sporting event. You know, we can talk about football right now, but any sporting event all over the world will struggle to fit in the calendar.
Yes, you're right. I mean, I've been speaking to so many athletes across the various sports, and everyone's saying that listen, when sport resumes, it's not going to be fair. There are going to be people who are going to feel that this didn't work out in our favor, but there's no other option. Does this COVID-19 pandemic sort of give us in India a chance to test out your national coach Igor Stimach's theory that there should be a restriction on the number of foreigners playing, because obviously budgets are going to be curtailed. A lot of travel restrictions will be there. You think this is an opportunity to test that out?
Yeah, it depends. Now it depends upon what are going to be the rules as far as foreigners coming in is concerned. You know, if
Can
that's
they
the
come in?
case, yeah, if that's the case, yeah. First of all, can they come in? Second of all, if they're allowed, I mean, if that's the case, then yes, why not? If that's the case, if you can only play domestic players, that'll be also be good. You know, it'll be very good to see all the young ones who probably don't get enough chances in the ISL to get chances and to perform. You know, although I do also believe that training with the better foreigners, top class foreigners, always improves you. But if that's the case, and if that's the situation we are in, where foreigners are not allowed to come in, then why not? Of course.
Hmm. No, Sunil, looking at the global picture, we've seen the Olympics cancelled, the Euros have been cancelled. Do you think right now what we are seeing is the shattering of this artificial bubble of football? You know, transfer fees and all are going to fall massively. This bubble has been sort of shattered, which had separated the gulf, the haves and the have-nots.
No, I think the bubble is going to come back. It might take a hit, but see, that's the problem of growth. You know, as you grow, it's going to happen. People in sports who have money, you know, will always try to get the best players, and this bubble will never end unless, see, you have to go back and say, you know what, this is the money. You can't buy anyone. There'll be no price hike. No price going to go beyond X amount. You can't do that in sports anymore. You can't go backwards. I think it's difficult to, yes, it will be the time being because everyone is taking a hit. The whole world economy is taking a hit, and a massive hit. So yes, you will see probably a downscale as far as, you know, spending on sporting events are concerned, spending, and that includes transfer money, the prices of the players and everything. But it will be temporary. I mean, again, we'll you know, again, because it's a growth. You know, if you see the transfer money when Ronaldo used to play, I think they paid 30 million for Ronaldo 10-12 years back, and now if you see 200 mil for Neymar, you know, so you can't say like Neymar is 10 times better than Ronaldo. It's just the way market works. So I don't think it'll stop it for once and all, but definitely there'll be a hit because you can see the whole world's economy is taking a hit, a huge, massive hit. This is something that we had never thought of, never dreamt of, never seen. So of course there will be a time where, you know, there'll be a scale which goes down, but then again it will come up.
You said, just to give an example, Sunil, it's not just, as we say, it's not about the income. You look at sponsorship. I mean, do sponsors, with most of the ways of actually, you know, with the lockdown, do people even have the money to go out and sponsor teams? So the entire sporting infrastructure ecosystem is going to take a hit. Just take a look at Philippe Coutinho, who went from Liverpool to Barcelona, 145 million. It's not his fault. He's a full Brazil international, a great player. But right now, Barcelona want to sell him for 66 million pounds less. That's a lot of money. I mean, just think of that much money in Indian football. But the fact remains that these are artificial prices. They've been hiked up, and the joke is now on the players. So all these big spending clubs who win in the past, like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United, Manchester City, PSG, Bayern Munich, they go out and buy the best players. At least for a year or two, we may not see that happen, and we may see a sort of a level playing field, at least for the 1 or 2 years.
No, I think still these clubs are only going to buy the players. Money will go down because see, everyone is losing money from their kitty. It's not that Barca, Bayern, Madrid, Manu will lose money, and let's say Newcastle will not lose money. You know, or let's say Granada will not lose money. Everyone is losing money. Okay. So now what will happen is still the best clubs are only going to get the play. The price will go down. The spending powers are going to go down, but the big clubs are going to get the players. You know, if let's suppose a small team, I don't want to name any team, let's suppose a small team has a kitty of 20 million to buy the best player, and Barca has 200 million. If Barca loses 1-0 and it comes to 20, that small team is going to go to 2 million. So the top player will still go to 20 million. The prices are going to come less, but again, the top class are going to get the players. It's just the way business is. Yeah, but if you make a league altogether where you say, listen, you cannot spend no matter what, this way, that way, via sponsors, you cannot spend above this, then there'll be a level playing field.
Like you have in the NBA and like you have in American sport, right? You have that transfer cap, budget cap.
Yeah, but there are a lot of loopholes there also. Because what happens is, even if you start with this kind of system, somewhere down the line, there'll be clubs who want better players. This will not stop, and they will find a way to get better players. If it's not money, then okay, we'll give you 5-star accommodation for you and the whole family. We'll give you 20 flights. I mean, there are so many ways to bend it. So what will happen is the finance of the sports is going to take a hit, but the big clubs probably are going to stay big clubs. You know, unless here and there individually some clubs take a bigger hit, but generally the big clubs are going to stay the big clubs.
Okay, important point you
I
made.
think it's, I think, I think it's about, listen, if you have 20 rupees to go to the market and buy vegetables, and I've got 2,000 rupees, okay, and there comes a massive bad time where we lose money, I might lose 1,000, but I still have 1,000 bucks.
Hmm.
And if you lose 18 bucks, you only have 2 rupees. So that's the way it works. So I think bigger clubs are still going to have the bigger players. The prices will go down for sure. As you said, they're letting go of 60 mil on Coutinho. That's what's going to happen because they wouldn't find anyone to buy him.
Hmm.
The prices are going to go less, but the bigger clubs are going to get the players.
Hmm. Interesting point you make, Sunil. Sort of something I need to think on those lines, because as you said, that it's never going to be a level playing field because the market is just like that. But you have a situation now where there's talk of the Champions League final being played in August, so that leagues can finish up and get to that stage. But how difficult is it going to be for teams, especially across Europe, to get their players up to full fitness? Because you're looking at what, at least 2 or 3 months of no playing till the season resumes again.
It's going to be very difficult, man. As a football fan, I want it to happen,
No, but
but
as
it's
a
going to be
footballer,
so
how
difficult.
difficult do you think it's going to be to build up? Because you're
It
looking at
is.
what, more than it's more than a summer break again now.
It is going to be very difficult. Very, very difficult. I know there are so many clubs who are doing video trainings and all of them are, are serious and professional. They're working out, but still training on a pitch and training at your home is two different things. All the footballers will tell you this. So if and when they are allowed to come out, they will still need some time to prepare so that they don't get into injuries. It's not about what the competition is going to be. It's about the player shouldn't get injured. The last thing you want is to go out and just because you want to finish a tournament, you speed up or hurry up and get injured. No player wants it. So first of all, if they're saying August, that means the clubs have to be allowed to train at least in June.
Mm.
And if it's in June, then do you think anywhere everything opening in June? It's too early. You never know. Is it going to be a risk? Because the last thing you want is to open up stuff and the virus again coming in large numbers. So I think, although I want to be optimistic, I want to think that it's going to open soon and all the tournaments which are pending can be finished because, the Premier League, I mean, look at Liverpool, man. The
Mm.
Premier League and the Champions League are important because if you postpone them till September, October, then the next year gets affected badly. But I don't know how they're going to do it. So again, we come back to the same thing. Until and unless we find a way how to deal with this virus, nothing can resume properly.
A British medical expert seems to have recommended, and I read this online, that when sport resumes, if and when sport resumes, to use your term, that players should wear masks at all time and play. Is it even remotely possible? I just want to understand a elite player's point of view. Is it possible to wear a mask and play full throttle?
It doesn't look impossible. I don't know if it's possible. I haven't tried it. It doesn't look impossible, but then because if that's the worry that you might, if you are affected, you might give it to the other player. Then it's not only about playing field. You use the dressing rooms,
Mm.
you use the showers. You have to be particular about everything. You drive in, you have lunch together, you have dinners together, you have meetings. So it's just not going to only going to be on the pitch. It has to be everything. You use the same pool, you use the same cold bath. There's so many things you have to take care of. So I think it's not impossible to play with mask. It's not conducive, of course. Imagine you're wearing a mask and you're walking, you'll feel difficult. So
Mm.
imagine playing in it. It's not impossible. Because I haven't read that, and I don't. I mean, he's an expert, so I'm sure he has some point. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult. But it's not only just about the pitch. To go to the pitch, there's so many other things. You train together. You are in a dressing room together. You eat together most of the time. So there are a lot of things to be taken care of.
Mm.
And
Another.
also, and also in a sporting environment, if somebody has it, it'll spread quick. It's because the first thing we have to see is social distancing. In sports, it's not there. In my sport, sorry.
Yeah.
In my sport, it's not there. So it'll be very difficult.
It's also, Sunil, there's a larger debate going on at the moment around world football. Is that what is more important? Is it money, or is it the health of, as you said, everyone associated with the sport? Now, you already have leagues across Europe suspended. There is talk that they will open perhaps behind closed doors or whatever. But already the estimated financial hit to the top 5 leagues in Europe is more than 4 to 5 billion euros. Clubs will perhaps suffer, leagues will suffer. The Premier League stands to lose 750 million pounds from broadcast rights. So there's that pressure as well. But what do you prioritize right now, health or financial status of leagues and the structures of football?
I think if you ask every or anyone in the world, they will say health, and that's the right answer. And of course, now how much money am I losing is a very small amount of money, so I can say it. I can't say it for bigger leagues or bigger uh, industries or bigger governments. I don't know about them, but I think if you look at it, losing a little bit more money for the next 3-4 months, we still have a chance of recovering it. But every life lost because of we being complacent or careless or taking it easy or opening it early, it'll be a catastrophe, because you never know how many lives you're going to lose. So I think we're better off waiting, let's suppose 4 months more, and I know we're going to lose humongous amount of money. We're going to lose, as a world, we're going to lose so much of money. But then still, if we are healthy, we're still going to make it someday or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think the priority is about health. For me, it's about health, and I'm sure a lot of people will agree.
Okay, so that leads me to my next question, and I already sort of know the answer that's coming as my way, because this other talk is let's play behind closed doors. Where do you stand on that? Should and let's see social distancing happening and all that, or everything that you mentioned, still should they go ahead behind closed doors? What about the fan?
I think in one way, I think because of the age I am, I want to play as soon as possible. But then sensibly, if you think, if fans are not allowed, it's because there is still the fear of the virus. And the fear of the virus is there, then why we all players train together? And then we have to monitor all the players all the time. Think about it. If BFC is allowed to train, and if Kolkata is allowed to train, and all these boys are training. When the boys train, it's about coaches, assistant coaches, physios, ball boys, water boys, everyone. So 50, 60 people in one ground every day training. And then they go to their homes back. And then they are allowed to travel. One of them brings the virus with him. That's the same fear, but because we're in numbers, 40,000 people in a stadium is a bigger number. That's why we get scared. But once we open, it'll be less of a risk, I understand, but then still you have to monitor it every day. Every day I have to be checked before going to the training. Otherwise, why would Grippy train with me? Or why would Udanta train with me if he's not sure, or vice versa? So every day there has to be checking. So as a player, of course, you want to train quickly and you want to play matches. But in a whole, I think the real way would be to get away completely and let's start playing and let the fans come in. What can happen is, if we know that we are near, you can allow the training to start. But I just hope, like, of course, it's a fancy thought. It's a very rosy scenario that eventually everything goes fine and we can play and fans can come and watch us.
Okay. Final question before I let you go. It's been a period of great strife for everyone, as you mentioned. That's perhaps all of us who are a bit more privileged will have had much more comfortable lives. But what for you, Sunil, has been the lesson during this period of lockdown, and something you think that the world needs to take on board as we move into the world getting back to normalcy?
See, I don't know. I can't share about people, but what I have realized is you have to be more compassionate, man. You have to think more about other people, especially me. People like me who are so privileged. We should really think about other people more. So I'll give you a small example. I used to help small amount of people before COVID-19. Okay. And you are so sucked in your life that you think only about yourself your new cars, your new properties, your new this, your new that, your new iPad, your new everything. But now when you think so many people are struggling for 50 bucks, 100 bucks, next food, no meal. The other day, a 12-year-old girl died because she was walking and she got dehydrated and she didn't have enough electrolytes in her body. She must have not eaten for so many days. So then you just realize you got to give back more. You got to understand that this is not fair. And there is so much that you can do. People around you have worked so hard for you to get that privilege point. There has to be a better way for you to give more. Now, again, it's subjective. I'm sure everyone is doing, but what I have understood, I can definitely do more. And that's one thing that I'm taking with me, the lesson that I'm taking with me in this, that I have to help more because I can easily help more. You become so selfish and self-oriented that it's not right. So it's not a preach. You ask me what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not trying to preach anyone. I'm sure everyone is doing their own bit, but I can definitely help more. I could have done it for the last 10 years. I was doing a little bit, but I think I was doing it just to make myself happy. Again, a selfish reason. I was helping people to make myself happy. You know what I mean? I think me and a lot of friends do it. We help because we have so much, and it gives us a satisfaction. But I'm going to do it now more genuinely to help people around and to change their lives. Because when you hear people are struggling for 50 bucks and for food, and it is not right, especially when I have so much. So that's one of the learnings that I've learned, and I'll try to make a big note because we are humans, and I'm selfish, and I'll again forget. So I'll make a big note, and I'll keep trying to help as many people as possible.
Sunil, I think you're too hard on yourself because I've done a lot of these interviews over the last 1 month, but I've never seen anyone be so remarkably honest and brutal. I think as you said, this is a grave period of stress for everyone, and there are people out there for whom, as you said, even 10 to 20 bucks matter a lot. But this has been some remarkable honesty, some remarkable candor from you. Thank you for sharing time, and Sunil, I wish you all the best because, as you said, when the realization comes from within, there's so much all of us can do, and find better ways, as you said, of helping people. And hopefully, we get to see you and we cheer you, not just for your efforts on the field, but your efforts off the field as well. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much, Digvijay.